All right, so this is a brief review or a brief summary of week 4 agenda. So if you go to the home page and you go to where the weekly agenda modules are located, if you go to week 4, so let's go ahead and click on week 4, and that's the week of February 7th. And notice that these are the keys to the non-graded worksheets, so those are available right now. And then these are the keys to the graded worksheets. So there are 5 worksheets that will be graded this week, and they're due Sunday. But let's go to the agenda. So for this week, we will cover the following. So remember last week we looked at solving quadratic inequalities. Well, Monday you're going to study solving rational inequalities. And so here's the lessons for topic 39 in terms of solving rational inequality. So if you click on it, these are the worksheets. Now notice it's quite a few problems. It's very important that you look at all those lessons. So lesson 1 contains problems 1 through 3. Lesson 2 contains 3 other problems, and then lesson 3 contains 3 other problems as well. So make sure that for rational inequalities, you're looking at each of those lessons. The videos are here and the notes are available as well. So let's go back to the previous page. All right, so that was Monday, and this is the worksheet that you're going to have to turn in. Now, let me go ahead and click on this worksheet to remind you all about some things that you may see on worksheets. So notice this warning. It says use the resource to determine what the work should look like if you want points. So make sure you're looking at those resources. Most of you, a good portion of you, are doing that. There's always about 2 or 3 that turn in worksheets, and it looks nothing like I asked you to in terms of the resource. So if you want full credit, you need to use those resources to see what the work looks like. Okay, so let's go back. Let me go back to the previous page. All right, so that's what you can do on Monday. And so on Tuesday, this is where you're going to look at absolute value equations. And those are the simpler kinds. And next week, during week 5, we're going to look at some other absolute value equations, and those will be where you have variables on both sides. So before we can do the ones for next week, you have to make sure that you know how to solve absolute value equations. So here are the lessons. So go to the lessons. So there are 3 lessons to look at, and the notes are available as well. And so these are the 3 worksheets. So notice the worksheet 1 is not graded. Worksheet 2 and 3 are similar. So let's look at worksheet 2. So again, notice there's a resource that you need to look at, and then go here to access the worksheet. So worksheet 2 and 3 are similar. So it's opening up. So there's the worksheet. So this one has 5 problems. Make sure you're looking at the lessons to see what to do when solving these absolute value equations. All right, so that's important. All right, so then let me go back to the previous page. So that's just going to do on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, you're going to study solving absolute value equations. And don't forget your attendance. So if you do anything on Monday or Tuesday, any activity, could be an activity from last week, whatever you need to do. But if you're doing something for this course on Monday and Tuesday, make sure you submit your attendance. Then Wednesday, we're going to have our class on Wednesday, and we're going to look at we're going to work some problems, a few problems from solving rational inequalities. We're going to look at a couple of problems on solving absolute value equations, and then we're going to look at what you're going to study on Thursday. So on Thursday, you're going to study absolute value inequalities. So Tuesday, you looked at absolute value equations. On Thursday, you're going to look at absolute value inequalities. So these are the lessons. So there's quite a few lessons you can use. So it's important. Notice that part 1 talks about an absolute value inequality that's less than. Part 2 talks about greater than. So those are different. They're solved differently. So it's very important that you study the less than and the greater than. And then part 3 combines both of those. Okay? So make sure you're looking at those 4 parts that you see here. All right, so let's go back to this board, and there's the worksheet that goes there. And then on Friday, now Friday's an easy day. It's just using the distance and midpoint formula. So make sure you look at the lessons for part A, the distance formula, and for part B, the midpoint formula. And then there are 3 worksheets. The first 2 are not graded, but the third one is. Now, if you go to the third one, notice there's a resource for what the work should look like. So if you click on that resource, click on the resource, it's opening. All right, so this is what the work should look like. So if you want your points, if you want all the points, make sure you're doing the work as you see. Now you are going to have to simplify radicals whenever possible, so make sure you simplify radicals. And so there's just one page there. So you're going to do the distance formula like this, and then you can use the midpoint formula and substitute. Okay? All right, and then, all right, so that's what you're going to study this week. Now let's go back to the home page. And so don't forget about your noon Alta assignments. So section 1.3 is due February 12th. Section 1.1 is already done. That was due on the 31st. Now, section 1.4 and section 1.5. Section 1.5 is on inequalities, right? So section 1.5 is on inequalities. So when you look at noon Alta, to graph an inequality, it looks weird when you look at noon Alta. So make sure you're using these 2 videos here so you'll know how to graph inequalities in noon Alta. So these 2 videos will show you how to do that. All right, so because if you don't look at that, you may struggle with you may struggle with graphing inequalities in noon Alta. All right, and then let's see. Oh, and then the quiz 1 and 2 are posted. The keys to quiz 1 and 2 are posted. So here are the links right here. And remember the worksheet assignment links, the quick links are here. So if you go to, let's say, section 1.7, there are the 4 worksheets. All right. But remember, the lessons for those worksheets are in the agenda. So you got to go to the agenda right here where it says full week agenda to get to the lessons, get to the videos that will help you with these worksheets. All right, so I think for right now, that's all I wanted to mention. So don't forget, you have noon Alta section 1.3 that's due at the end of this week. And you need to begin on section 1.4, 1.5, which we have completed. Okay, so that is it. I will see you on Wednesday at 6 p.m.